No question, the economy looks like it is kind of soaring along at this point, seeing a lot of good things that have come out of this. But we're also talking about some of the cross currents, including all of those issues with trade. And I wonder if you think trade will undo some of the good work that you've put into place.
Yeah, so it has the potential. And I think to the first point, look, there's almost no, it's very early in tax reform. We all acknowledge that. But there's almost no indicators that aren't markedly better today than they were 6 months ago. And as I like to point out, in just that short time, we've come from a nation asking where are the jobs to a nation asking where are the workers. That's still a problem, but it's a good problem to have. So trade, we think, maximizing this economic growth, we need two things. One, we need more customers. That's good free trade agreements, including NAFTA, and more workers. And we think there's a good path forward there as well. And so I think on trade, there's no question. Both parties absolutely support the president targeting China's unfair trade practices. I think the frustration is because the White House initially exempted, as we asked, our countries, trading partners who fairly trade with us, like Canada, Mexico, and Europe. And there was an exclusion process promised to make sure that fairly traded products, steel and aluminum, for example, would be exempted as well. So people are willing to give the president, I believe, some patience to pursue this strategy. But since neither of those exemptions are really working, I think the frustration is that American workers, families, farmers, businesses are feeling more pain today than China is. And that's where we're urging the president to adjust, the whole approach as he goes after after China.
Chairman Brady, you said something that most people wouldn't have batted an eye at a few months ago. You said that countries that fairly trade with us, like Canada, you believe Canada trades fairly with us, or do you believe some of the rhetoric we've heard from others in the administration saying, no, that's not the case?
Well, the answer is not completely. Canada, we have longstanding trade disputes with both Canada and Mexico and Europe as well. They need to be resolved, we think. A pro-growth modern NAFTA should address those issues. And Canada has been reluctant to come to the table, has really stuck to some outdated, we think, unfair trade practices in agriculture and intellectual property. No doubt about it. But on steel and aluminum, that's not the case. And so that's why I think both Canada, Mexico, Europe, on the steel and aluminum especially, ought to be exempted so we can use them, work with them as allies on China's practices.
You think we'll get a new NAFTA?
Yeah, I certainly hope so. I think it's within the grasp. There are some big economic wins, I think, for the U.S. there. And when you put the strengths of Mexico and Canada together with us, we can compete and win, especially now that we have a new tax code. Frankly, we can compete and win anywhere in the world against Asia, against Europe as well. So, yeah, I think that's important. It needs to be done this year. That's where Congress wants to see it done. It needs to be done right.
You mentioned that you think we need more customers and we need more workers. How do we find more workers? Is that an allusion to immigration, the two bills that are being considered in the House?
It is. It is. I think this is one of those all-of-the-above strategies. We need to get immigration policy right. We have a chance to start that today. We need to get workforce right. We've got all these training and apprenticeship programs, but they're not turning out the workforce we need to turn that volume up. And then finally, the House Ways and Means Committee has already begun and approved a new welfare reform. We have millions of Americans on the sidelines we think are very important to economic growth, to moving them to the front lines of employment. We can do this as that happened in 1996. So I think all three matter. In today's bill, I think bills are very thoughtful, very smart solution.
Which bill do you support, the more conservative bill or the one that Speaker Ryan is backing?
Well, I'm awfully conservative, so I'm going to support both. And I think the Common Ground bill, the second one, where they put together sort of the thoughts and principles across our conference, does some key things. It shuts the back door of illegal immigration in a way we haven't seen in a long time. It starts to fix the front door of legal immigration, which has been broken too long. It creates a permanent family reunification process. We think that's important. But I think more importantly, it provides for those who earn it, the dreamers who work, who get an education, who serve in the military, a legal status and a certainty that I think we can all agree on. And so I think it is the second bill. I'm strongly supporting that as well.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.